let's go back a bit, Levi. In your notes, you say you were brought up on quality records rather than TV. How important do you think that was to you, not only as an artist but as a person?
Uh, I don't know. As an artist, I think it was. Let's see. I don't know. As an artist, it my ears were just exposed to so much music because my dad listened to everything. So it was just like he listened to so much music, and for me, it was listening to that music. And I guess and my dad's like he's kind of blue collar guy, so he's working all the time, and so whenever I was with him, I'm listening to all this music, and so I've seen my dad work around the clock and always kind of on his job and kind of it's just like I don't know, just I guess it kind of instilled work ethic, but it also gave me this sense of like this music was the music that would could be the soundtrack of your day or your life at any given point in time, and I always wanted to write music that made everyone feel like that.
Yeah. Was there any particular album or artist that had a major effect on you the first time you heard them?
Uh, Stevie Wonder,
Yeah.
Intervisions album.
Yeah.
It was I was probably like 5 years old, and I was we were in the house, whatever, and I was playing. I think just doing what kids do. I guess 5-year-old. I'm running around the house playing, and Higher Ground came on by Stevie Wonder. It came on it was the CD was playing or the record was playing or whatever, and that song came on, and I heard the line, I'm so glad God let me try it again because my last time on earth I lived a whole world of sin. And I remember thinking, even when I was like 5, like that line just kind of stuck out to me. Like, what does that mean? Like, what was he trying to say there? Like,
Yeah.
and I was like, do we? I was like, he living again? Like, I was like, and I remember like that going through my mind, even at 5 years old. I was trying to wrap my brain around what he just said, and I think that was one of the for me. I think probably the turning point in terms of finding an artist and a music that just kind of reached out and grabbed your soul, even a 5-year-old soul.
Yeah.
Just trying to make sense of something that you heard that was just that heavy and that good.
Yeah. So prior to the recording of That's Why, which came out in 2010, I believe,
Yeah.
tell me a bit about what you'd been doing, the type of gigs.
Well, prior to that album coming out, I think I wasn't really gigging. I wasn't even gonna be an artist. I really wanted to just focus on production and songwriting
Yeah.
for a long time, and that's kind of all I wanted to do. And we had placements. I was working with a production company. We had gotten some major placements and did a lot of music with a lot of independent artists. And I'm trying to think. Well, I guess for me, I was content at just doing that. I wasn't even gonna be. I mean, I would play guitar and keys for other artists at times, but mostly my musician skills were just relegated to the studio. I only played and worked on stuff in the studio.
Yeah. So how long did you spend on the album?
On This Way, I think it was about. I think it was a 9 to maybe 9 almost 10 month process in terms of writing and production and then mixing and mastering. And I'm finding that this a little bit longer with this particular album because now I finally got settled on the concept and the idea behind what I wanted to do this album on, and it's taking a little bit longer. This album is taking about a year and a half or so, and we're still just kind of wrapping up things or getting some things finished, and still got some work to do on a lot of work to do on some other stuff. So
Yeah. So you're in a music production company with some other guys. But what are the main things you've learned about writing songs?
learn about writing songs. Follow all your ideas to whatever end.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the things. I would start a lot of songs. When I first started writing, I would start writing concepts and then I would abandon them. I would go on to something else, and then I'd never finish the song. So the song would be kind of sitting there, and I would have like either an idea or a concept, but I never finished it. I would never like it would never come to fruition in terms of the song, the total song, and I did that so many times, and I still do it to a degree sometimes because sometimes some ideas come to me and I'm like, okay, that's an idea that I can't focus on right now because I hear where it's going and it's too big. So I put enough of it down to just kind of remember that idea, the concept, and then I always want to make sure I go back to it and when I'm ready to do that particular concept. So,
Yeah.
that was one of the most important things. Always finish a song and finish as many songs as you possibly can, because
Yeah.
however bad or great they are.
Yeah, your production style is very, very rich and warm, and what's happening in the background of your music is always very tasteful and soulful. Is that something you learned, or something that's just in you?
A lot of it's learned. I think I study production, and I study music. I
Yeah,
study like music history. Like I listen to, the great producers from different eras and genres, and try to, I guess depending upon what I need to pull from on a particular song, like I'll do it. I'll listen to the music. I mean, now we got iTunes. I remember when I first started, like right just before that you could put all your music in your computer.
yeah,
Like I had a big CD carousel thing, like a big book binder that you could put all your CDs in. It carried like 250 CDs or something like that, and I would rotate CDs in and out of it. But I would keep them all in there, and I called it my Bible. Like I would literally
yeah.
like, and they were all put in by genre and artist. And so I would just go through that, and if I needed to hear like a bunch of songs from a specific era or thing, I would just flip through and find it and listen to nothing but that for like the whole week or the night or however long I needed to get the right influences for the music production style.
Mm. You've got a great feel for backing vocal arrangements too. Is that usually your own voice layered?
Yeah, it's all, I think on This Way there are no other vocals. It's all me on that album.
Yeah, and the songs on This Way, they seem very complete. They're well thought out, both lyrically and musically. You must have spent a great deal of time constructing each song.
Some of them, yeah. Some of the songs were just songs that I had. Like I said, I wasn't even gonna do like an artist thing.
Mm.
And my dad passed away, and when he passed away, that kind of made me want to follow through with a dream that I had when I was a kid of being an artist. I didn't necessarily want to be an artist all the time or just a producer all the time. At one point, I was like, well, I want to sing. I want to sing in front of people. Then I started doing production and writing. And I was like, well, this is actually easier. Like I don't live in a microscope or under a microscope, or I don't have to be anywhere at a certain time. I can just kind of work from home, and I can do production when and it was a little just easier. It seemed like it was easier. So I fell back into that. But once my dad passed away, it was just like, well, I had these songs in my head, and I wanted to make sure that if I felt like if anyone was going to do the songs as opposed to me selling them to someone else. I mean, some of these songs were very personal, and personal experience had inspired these songs. So I wanted to just go ahead and record the album. And so some of the concepts I had already in my head, and I knew what I needed to do, and execution wasn't that, it wasn't as drawn out as it could have been. I think I spent more time with the music than I probably did with the lyrics, and in some instances with the lyrics and the backing vocals and stuff.
Yeah. So who are the guys you usually play with? Are they longtime friends or just session guys?
Um, well, my partner still, that I had a production company. It was three of us. We split up, but one of the other guys I still work with. He's still my production partner. He's going to co-produce the second album with me. We grew up playing in church and that kind of thing, and so we've been playing together for years. And most of the musicians that I've known for many years. Either through church or other gigs that we used to play, like local gigs and stuff like that. So,
Yeah. So what would you consider to be your greatest achievement musically so far?
um, I don't know. Like, and what do you in terms of what performance or just music work in terms of like songs or?
I suppose the thing you're most proud of.
Well, I would say This Way. The album is what I'm most proud of. I mean, there've been great. There've been certain accolades and other things that I'm definitely proud of, but or just acknowledgments. I mean, for you to say that you felt like the music was warm and it was very complete, and that you kind of got what it was I was trying to say on the music.
Mm.
That probably speaks more than anything, any award or any kind of, I guess, stage. I mean, I've been on big stages. I've been on small stages. I've been on no stages. So it's like those were all great experiences, and I'm proud of where I've been and what I've seen and what doors have been open for me over the last few years with this album. But I think just completing that album was my greatest musical accomplishment. I think just following through with that album because it was a very personal record. And not that I don't write impersonal music or music that's not like the music on this album is going to be just as heart wrenching. I think once I get into once we get into the mixing and mastering and putting all the pieces together to make it full and complete, I think you know I think that's going to be the next biggest accomplishment, the second album. So up to now, I would say the first album.
Yeah. Would you say there's an overall theme to the new album?
It is. It's actually going back to why I even decided to do music in the first place. It's called Only What We Dream,
Mm.
and the concept is based off of. It's funny. It's actually based off of. I was messing around. I bought I bought my first. This is really corny, but I bought my first HD television
Right.
about 2 years ago now. Maybe it was 2 years ago, and we've been touring, and I've had nice televisions, but I never had an HD television.
Yeah.
I never owned one. Smart TV. It was amazing. So I was whole different experience. You start getting stuff as you start playing, and so I was like, well, I wanted a nice television, and I was messing around with the widescreen and the panoramic views and the different views of the screen. And I was like, it's funny, you can see more of the picture when you do the panoramic view, even though it doesn't seem like it's showing you the whole screen because it feels like it's a smaller screen, but it's more of a wider look. It's a panoramic view.
Mm.
And so I was like, well, it's funny how we do that with life and dreams and goals. We continue to shave off edges of whatever, say your dream was to be something, an astronaut, and somebody tells you can't be an astronaut, so you start skimming down the edges over time. It kind of erodes, as you get older, and the scope of your dreams and your goals just becomes smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And I want that panoramic view. So I'm going back to that. And so that's like the dreams that I had was I want to live off of only what I've dreamt about seeing in terms of my career. So
Yeah.
just that's the concept.
Yeah.
Trying to make it sound really heavy, but it came off of a smart TV, HD TV concept.
That's not corny at all. That's cool. So the Washington music scene, what's it like at the moment?
It's amazing actually. I like it a lot. I like playing the local gigs that I play. Are really cool. I'm in a great community of singer songwriters that are here. By and large, I think Washington doesn't get the notoriety for the I guess the diversity of the music and the culture here. It's you can find any kind of bar, club, restaurant that's playing live music and get almost any kind of music that you want to hear. Like you can find that. It's a very multicultural kind of environment, and that's good for musicians because as I travel around the rest of the states and as I've gone, I've started playing in Canada here lately, and you go to certain places, you find out you can't get paid to play. You don't get paid to play in a lot of places. You kind of got to be that artist that's like, well, I'm just playing for tips or something like that. Where here in DC, which is kind of it can be a bad thing or a staggering thing at times, but I feel like because it can be a glass ceiling. You won't leave because you get comfortable because you actually get paid to work, and you can make a good living. You do about 5-6 gigs a week at say on a small scale, even if you're doing like if you're a sideman or something like that, and you're doing like $150 a night. You think about doing 7 gigs a week, and then maybe you get a church gig that pays you a salary, and you're playing every Saturday or Sunday or every Wednesday night, and then you're in the clubs every other night after that and playing all week. I mean, you can make a solid living monthly. Like when you start adding that together, you can make a good living as a musician in this area, whereas you can't do that in Nashville, New York, Texas, California. You can't. It's not set up for that.
Yeah. Have you ever played outside the States?
Like I said, Canada, we've gone as far down as Mexico and different places and just outside of the borders, really, not overseas anywhere.
Yeah. Because we're a musician side, I just wanted to ask a little bit about the gear you use.
Okay.
I see your main acoustic is a Taylor.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that guitar. Is it the same guitar used in the studio as on stage?
Yeah, that actually, well, I have another guitar now, but I still use the Taylor. That particular Taylor is a 410. I think is probably what gets the most pictures taken of it. But it's the Taylor. It's a custom 410 Taylor that I've had. That was the first I guess name brand acoustic guitar that I purchased.
Yeah.
And I've had it now for about I guess about 7 years now.
Yeah. Do you like fresh strings when you're recording?
No, I like maybe 2 weeks of gig strings,
Yeah.
2 to 3 weeks of gig strings, because you get a little bit of the grit and the oil, and it's still bright because they're still relatively new strings, but they're not like brand new strings, because brand new strings squeak and do all that other stuff on tape. So I don't want to hear that. I want to hear like the warmth of the strings and the guitar.
Yeah. What's the best way you've worked out to record your acoustic guitars?
Uh, it's a few different. I think the my formula is I'll use like a STT Millennium Mic Pre. So I'll use that as the preamp. I'll use like a Neumann, either Neumann TLM 103 or a Neumann what's that? What's the mic? I can't even think of the name of it. But I'll either use a big dynamic mic, and then I'll use like a KM 184 or something like that, a small Neumann KM 184 to do like on the fret, and then I put the big dynamic mic probably right on the sound hole,
Hmm.
and I don't necessarily need wooden floors and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I've recorded in studios like that, which is really cool. But I like a nice padded dead room, so it picks up everything, all the nuances, the fingering, everything. So I kind of like that sound for acoustic recording. So yeah, I could literally, like give me like a fire blanket in front of like a wall and the mics right there and a nice soundproof booth, and yeah, and it just get that sound like right in that little pocket.
Yeah. And you're a Strat guy with your electric?
Yes.
Yeah. And what amp do you usually like to play through?
I have a Marshall JT what is that? Man, it's back here. I got a Marshall JCM 12, what is it? 2000. JCM 2000
Yeah.
Super Lead. I have that. I like that. That's my half stack. And I'm a big Jimi Hendrix fan, so the
Yeah.
Hendrix stuff uh that's kind of where I got that sound, or try to get that sound from. But I use that for like bigger shows and stuff. But mostly I use like a just a Fender Blues Deluxe.
Yeah. Um,
Uh,
what's your favorite piece of studio gear? Something you couldn't do without?
hmm. That's a good one. The first thing it was one thing I could not do without. My Fender Rhodes.
Yeah.
My Fender Rhodes, because that's my go-to for like vocal arrangement. It's my go-to whenever I'm in the studio, like to just if I have to write a line real quick and I just want to sit down. So it's really kind of between the two. It'll be between my acoustic guitar and my Fender Rhodes. Those are the two things that I always have to have. Like gear is gear. Like
Mm.
I like a good mic pre, or you know obviously you can't not have your control, your board and stuff like that. But I guess yeah, my favorite pieces of gear in any studio is always going to be like my Fender Rhodes, or like my guitar, just to be able to have, just in case I need to run ideas and I need to write and always kind of be on top of whatever the idea is.
And what software do you work with in the studio?
Pro Tools. Right now, I'm a little behind. I still have Pro Tools. What is this? 8. I haven't upgraded in
Yeah.
some time. But yeah, Pro Tools 8.
Yeah. So what's the hardest thing about being an independent artist?
Balance.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because when you don't have a machine provides some level of balance. I think because you have to do everything as an artist. When I'm doing shows, it's like the agent only covers but so much. My manager's only going to be able to cover but so much. It's like you don't have that extra help that you would like to have,
Hmm.
and so you always have to be places. You have to make yourself go places and make sure you're where you need to be, and just do certain things. You have to be kind of really self motivated when you're an independent artist. You cannot wait for anyone to hold your hand and make you do certain things. And I've played with, toured with, and worked with many signed artists, and I see how they kind of get that kind of attention. They get that, someone will be kind of like, this is where you need to be, calling them, make sure they're there, sending cars for them, doing all the stuff that,
Mm.
an independent artist just doesn't have. You gotta be self-motivated. You gotta really kind of get out and do it on your own.
Yeah. What's the best thing about being an independent artist?
not having anyone to answer to. So that's it's like the other side of that. It's like you got the freedom and the flexibility to kind of do what you want to do. Nobody's gonna control I know what songs I want to put on this album, and I don't have to answer to anybody about the songs.
Yeah.
I didn't have to answer to anybody about this way. You know, I want to be able to just when I put the songs on the album, this is what I want to do. I'm the executive producer, I'm the writer, I'm the artist, I'm the musician. You know, it's like I kind of have complete and full control. And I'm not so much that I'm a control freak. I fully believe in surrounding yourself with people, one, like-minded individuals, but then the other thing is making sure that, you know, I didn't do this way alone. So it was like I had a great, the musicians were amazing, my friends, great support from my family, my production company that I was with at the time, great support and help from them. So it was like, yeah, it was no man or no artist is an island, but I don't like to have to. I don't want anyone micromanaging me to the point where they're like telling me what songs to sing on stage that night, or telling me how to run this and run that and run that. It's like, well, the thing that got me here was playing and doing it like this. So
Yeah. Have you given yourself a deadline for the new album?
Well, originally we were supposed to be done by now. We were supposed to be done, and it was supposed to be. We were looking at releasing it in September, and I could probably still eke it out by October, but I think I'm going to wait until January.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds like a weird, odd time to release a record. It's the top of the, I guess, the industry is pretty much kind of in a lull right there. The first quarter of the year, nobody's really looking for anything new from any artists at the top of the year. Normally, second quarter is when you start seeing more new music come out. But I think I'm gonna do it around the same time I released This Way, which was in January, and it was it was fun. It was like I was looking forward to it after the holidays coming out and saying I'm gonna have an album out that's gonna be really cool. So
yeah. So what's the grand plan?
the grand plan. Well, I'm gonna continue recording this time around, and I think now that I'm able to stay healthier, because the thing that slowed me down with the production on this particular album more so was a rigorous work schedule. I mean, I probably do about 220 dates a year, and a lot of them, especially these local, like you do a lot of local bar gigs and gigs just in general, they're 3 and 4 hour sets. So I'm dead tired vocally by the time the next day comes around. I got to completely rejuvenate and rest, and then by that time I'm getting ready to go to the next show. So it's not a whole lot of time to really just devote vocal just to recording records. And you need that time. Your body, you want to be completely relaxed and vocally healthy. And so I think for me now, the grand scheme though is to continue recording and put out another album, not this far after the last album was released. Obviously, I want to put out another album quicker and do more music, do more writing for other artists. That was something I had gotten away from over the last couple years, even though that was the thing that got me into music. So writing for other artists. So I want to write for more artists again, do production on other albums and for other artists. And I'm trying to think, really just to get overseas, start touring and doing dates overseas, because that's kind of the biggest goal I have right now, developing that traction and being able to do dates overseas.
Yeah. So we may see you down in Australia one day.
I would love to, man. Oh my God, yeah, you have no idea, man. I want to go down there so bad.
Yeah. All right, Levi, it's been great talking to you, and all the best with your music.
Thank you so much, Greg. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No problem, man. See you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Take care.